Welcome to Massive Beers. My name is Matt. We do the beer stuff here. It was July. It is now August. And when it's July and August in the United States of America, you know what time it is, beer time. Pumpkin beer time. I'm not going to hate on pumpkin beers, because I don't think there's something worthy of hating on. Because I think there's a lot of, misnomer. That's not the way to put it. I think a lot of people think about pumpkin beers in the wrong way. I think a lot of people think pumpkin beers are good because they're pumpkin beers. I think there are really amazing pumpkin beers, just so happen to be pumpkin beers. Like, pumpkin is not what makes a beer great. But I've had some bangers. We're cheating a little here, but Maple Mistress from Saucony Creek. That's a gourd beer, not a pumpkin beer. Butternut squash, to be exact. That's fantastic. Schlafly's pumpkin ale's really, really good. W.E. Yerbacher's, Weyerbacher's pumpkin ale. This is some really good one. Best pumpkin beer I think I ever had was a pumpkin barley wine. I want to say it was from not Bottle Logic. Somebody out west. It was a predominantly sour brewery, but they did a pumpkin barley wine. It was really, really good. Anyway, one of the more bigger, seminally known pumpkin beers, at least for me, especially being here on the East Coast, is Pumking, Southern Tier. That's what we're doing today, but with a little bit of a twist. This is 2019. We're in 2014. So 19 and the 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fifth. 5 years. It's the rum barrel aged pumpkin, but for a 10 spot. Yeah, it's funny because a group of us beer tubers have a group chat in Facebook where we just kind of randomly chat about random stuff, and the guys from FLX, Joe from FLX was like, hey, a buddy gave me the Southern Tier or it was a Warlock, sorry. And he's like, do you guys know how old it is? He just sent date code. And I was like, I kind of think it's this date. Kyle from My Beer Reviews said, I think it's this date. And I said, yeah, I think he's right. It's this date. And did a little subtle research. And I think that we hit in the nose. And that was yesterday. And I was like, man, I'm curious if that is good, because we have a lot of Southern Tier that just turds up here in New Jersey. Lo and behold, the next day I see this. Like a gift from the gods. Here we go. What do we have? Barrel House Series from Southern Tier. Rum Barrel Aged Pumking. We have ale brewed with pumpkin and aged in rum barrels. 13.4%. I didn't see that, so higher ABV. Bottled in August of 2019. We are in August of 2024. And we have here kept like secret treasure deep in the Southern Tier barrel house from barrel aged pumpkin has sat patiently preparing for its discovery. Many months had passed before the Jolly Roger is raised and his precious cargo was unloaded, gold in liquid form. Enjoy rum barrel aged pumpkin now, or keep it hidden, standing upright in a dark, cool place until time comes to declare cheers maybe. So they're saying implicitly on the label that is ageable. So here we go. We're good with this. Then this should be fantastic. There's no Best Buy data on this because they're saying rest it upright. Now I picked this off a shelf today in New Jersey, so I don't know if they kept it upright. I kind of think they did because, let's put it this way, the place that, and there's not a big hiss on there, by the way, that has me a little bit kind of standoffish. The place that I picked this up at, I'm pouring aggressively, even though I should be a bit more gentle to see what kind of head I can generate. I feel like that place has been what's the word I'm looking for? I feel like the place I purchased this at they do have a bunch of really old, interesting, is the way I would put it, beer. But it almost feels like somebody owned this place and was in the beer and then sold it and then the place is sold several times. And every person that bought it wasn't in the beer. So these are just kind of remnants of what's in the cellar. Again, maybe a bonus for me. I don't know, but for $10, we'll do it. Label Wise, it's actually probably one of the better labels that Southern Tier has done. Their art design is not typically my favorite, but something about this with just a more simplified kind of like note-taking gold on. What's that color? It's blue, but it's like earth tony blue. Yeah, I can get down with it. Beer-wise, it looks like pumpkin beer. It has a head on it. If I give it a little bit of a whirl, we get a decent head back. So hiss aside, we are in a good place. So it definitely looks a part of what a pumpkin beer should be. You know, that rich kind of iced tea, 4C iced tea kind of vibes to it. So you can get a nose. Weird. It's weird for that, just weird to pop out of my face. Coughs. It's weird because you definitely get pumpkin vibes. You definitely get rum vibes. But there's something else there. And that's the weirdness. I don't know what it is. Not off-putting by any stretch. Like a toastiness. Like almost like you put... It smells like a rum-soaked toaster strudel. I'm not hating on that description, to be perfectly honest with you. But there's pumpkin vibes in here. There's a spice vibe here. There's a rum vibe here. But there's just this toasty breadiness. This nutty, that's the word I'm looking for. Nutty, toasty breadiness. It's not something I come across all that often. You know? But it smells really fun. Again, people laugh when I say these kind of things. It smells thin. You know, you're typically talking about a pumpkin beer or barrel-aged beer. You want a bit of heft to it, a little bit of mouthfeel. I feel like this is going to be quite thin. But yeah. We're just diving in. Cheers, y'all. It's not bad by any stretch. It's just disjointed. Again, you're talking about rum barrel-aged pumpkin beer. There's so many moving parts here. It's hard to get those correct. There's something that's going to be long haul aged, even though they call out in this label that you could do that. It is thin. It has a bit of, not criminally thinness to it, but it definitely lacks a bit of mouthfeel that you would want from a barrel-aged beer or a pumpkin beer, or those in combination. It's not like I said, criminally thin, but it's definitely there. It's definitely disjointed in the spice sense because you're talking about your pumpkin spices. You're talking about like what I might get these wrong, but you get the gist. Pumpkin spices, cinnamon, graham cracker, allspice, those kind of things. It feels cardamom. It feels like it's leaning heavily in like a nutmeg cardamom thing. So you're losing a bit of those sharp spices is the best way I can put it. Cinnamon, those kind of things. But the other ones are being retained. So it's a little bit too hefty in that one direction. In the rum here, you're definitely getting like a spirit here because it actually hits a little sharp as far as alcohol goes, which is bizarre, being that this is several years old. But I'm thinking this touched an extremely wet barrel, and there's a decent amount of ABV in this beer is derived from the spirit. And while you do get a little bit of rum vibes off it, it's a weird combination because I think you're getting a ton when you back it up. Let's talk about it sensibly. So when you take the spices that have been retained, cardamom, nutmeg, those kind of things, and then you take the spirit, which I think is a big portion of the show here, so it's alcohol evaporative, and then you add a barrel, which is tannic, wood-like, and drying. This beer is sweet but dries off super hyper-aggressively. With those spices, with that combination of spices, the spirit, and the barrel, it just ends up being a little bit more mouth puckering than you'd want something like this to be from a dryness standpoint, not like a sour or anything negative like that. You're thinking about a pumpkin beer and rum barrels. You want a little, a little dessert, a little kind of, a little sweet spice, a little sweet spicy rummy thing going on here, and it ends up being dry and dry and dry because of its age. I think all those moving parts, all those parts that can end up working towards a more drier beer or a drier finish in a sweeter beer is probably a better way to compartmentalize it. End up retaining while all the sweetness has died off, so it ends up being a little bit kind of one-sided. Super fun experience, like super fun. I'm glad I picked it up. A tenner. Pick it up, do this experience, review this beer, have this kind of fun with it. It's weird too because I'm almost positive. I was positive I reviewed this beer before. And I was like, wow, it's going to be cool to do this beer like several years later. Couldn't find it on my YouTube channel, so I probably picked it up, drank it, and didn't review it or didn't post it. Oh, maybe I'll go back in my archives. That's a fun one. It might be back. I have like an old catalog of stuff I never posted. If I can find it, I'll post it with this one. Anyway, a fun beer, a fun aged beer to try. You're talking about, 5 years old, a pumpkin beer, rum barrel aged from a brewery that's not known for doing barrel aged beers. It was fun. I think we're done. With the story here. So yeah, it's definitely fallen off. Not necessarily something I would pick up outside of curiousness. Let's say they come out with this. I don't even know if they make this anymore, but let's say they come out with this year. Maybe they do a side by side. Go pick another one up just for fun skis. Outside of that, cool beer. If you like trying aged beer and you think that stuff is fun, that's where this thing lands. We're not going to go over the whole is it Mount Rushmore and all that stuff. Southern Tier. Have you been to the brewery? This beer. Have you had it fresh? Have you had it recently? That's who I want to talk to. All that fun stuff down there. Hopefully you enjoyed this review. Hopefully enjoying beer right now. Beer. Not even good beer, just beer. We'll see you next time. Cheers, all.